The words hit me like a blade straight through the ribs. I stood in the doorway of our living room, still in my work uniform, grease on my hands and exhaustion in my bones, while my wife, no, the woman I thought I knew, glared at me with eyes colder than I'd ever seen. "You'll never be her real dad, Mark," she said again, her voice trembling not with guilt, but with fury. "Stop pretending like you are." First I laughed. A small, bewildered laugh that came out cracked and nervous. "What are you talking about, Laura? What kind of thing is that to say?" But she didn't answer. She just turned her face away, arms folded, jaw set tight. And that's when I noticed it. The silence of our daughter's laughter upstairs, the quiet that meant she'd heard every word. And suddenly, everything I thought I understood about my life began to splinter. 10 years of marriage, of birthdays and scraped knees, of sleepless nights beside her in the dark, whispering about plans and dreams. 10 years of raising our daughter Emma. Or at least that's what I'd believed. I met Laura when Emma was barely a year old. Her father had left before she was born, or so I'd been told. He wasn't ready for a family, she had said one night, her eyes filled with tears. He walked out on us. I never questioned it. I never needed to. The way she said it, the pain in her voice, felt real. I stepped in willingly. No, gladly. I fell in love with Laura, but it was Emma who made me stay. The first time she called me Dad, she was 3. I remember the way her little arms wrapped around my neck, the warmth of her small body pressed against me as she whispered, "I love you, Daddy." I thought that word, Daddy, was sacred. I thought it meant something unbreakable. Until that night. Laura had been distant for months before it happened. The late-night text. The quiet arguments behind closed doors. The way she avoided my eyes when I asked her what was wrong. "Work stress," she said once, waving me off. "Don't worry about it, Mark." But I did. Because when you've built a life with someone, you know when something shifts. You feel it in the way they breathe beside you, in the way their laughter turns forced, and their touch fades into routine. And yet I convinced myself it was temporary. People drift, people change, but love brings them back. I didn't know love was already gone. It was a Friday night when it all began to unravel. Emma had fallen asleep early after movie night, curled up in her blanket fort. I went to tuck her in, kissed her forehead and whispered, "Good night, kiddo." Then I went downstairs, expecting Laura to be in the kitchen like always. Instead, she was outside on the porch, phone pressed to her ear, whispering sharply, "No, he doesn't know, he's clueless." Froze. Her back was turned to me, the glow of her phone screen lighting her face. I couldn't hear the voice on the other end, but her tone, hurried, anxious, told me enough. "Don't call me again," she hissed. "He's home." She turned, startled, when she saw me in the doorway. "Who was that?" I asked. "Nobody." Her answer came too fast. Just work stuff. Work stuff at 11 p.m. She rolled her eyes. "God, Mark, not everything is some conspiracy. Can you stop being paranoid?" And with that, she brushed past me, slamming the door behind her. But the way her hands trembled said everything. The next few weeks I started noticing things. Little things. Receipts from a cafe I'd never been to. Deleted messages on her phone. The smell of cologne that wasn't mine. Then one afternoon, while cleaning, I found a small envelope inside the drawer of her dresser. Inside were old photos. Laura holding a baby Emma, and a man I'd never seen before. He had Laura's arm around his waist. And Emma's eyes. The resemblance hit me so hard I nearly dropped the photo. On the back of one, written in Laura's handwriting, were the words, "Emma's first day with Daddy." Not me. My stomach twisted. My hands shook. I sat there on the edge of our bed, staring at the photo for what felt like hours, until I couldn't breathe. That night I didn't say anything. Waited. Listen. Until the next evening, when Laura finally said the words that would break me. "I'm tired of pretending, Mark." Her voice was sharp, controlled. We were standing in the kitchen, a half-cooked dinner growing cold on the stove. "Pretending?" I asked quietly. She crossed her arms. This whole perfect family thing. It's not real. It hasn't been for a long time. Then why stay? Her eyes flickered, guilt flashing just briefly before the anger returned. Because it was easy. You were safe. And Emma needed stability. I felt my throat tighten. So that's all I was. A placeholder. She didn't answer. Tell me the truth, Laura. Who's her father? She exhaled sharply like a balloon deflating. You don't want to know. I do. She hesitated, then finally said it. His name's Ryan. He's back. The name meant nothing to me, but the way she said it, the way her voice softened, told me everything. I swallowed hard. And does Emma know? Her silence was the answer. You told her. My voice broke. She deserves to know, Mark, she snapped. She's old enough. She's been confused, and I can't keep lying to her. Lying. Could barely breathe. You lied to me for 10 years, Laura. You let me raise her, love her, as my own, and now suddenly I'm just nothing. That's when she said it. You'll never be her real dad, Mark. Stop pretending. The words echoed. And somewhere upstairs, I heard the soft creak of a bedroom door closing. I didn't sleep that night. Neither did Emma. The next morning I tried to talk to her. I knocked on her door softly. Hey, sweetheart. Can we talk? No answer. When I opened the door, she was sitting on her bed, holding a photo frame, one of the 3 of us at the zoo years ago. Mom said you're not my real dad, she said quietly, eyes fixed on the picture. Is that true? My chest ached. I raised you, Emma. Since you were a baby. I've loved you every single day. She looked up then, tears brimming. But you're not him. I sat beside her, unsure if I had any right to. No, I'm not him. Silence. Just the sound of her breathing, uneven and small. Then she whispered, Are you still my dad? And I broke. Yes, I said, voice trembling. If you'll let me be. She didn't answer. Just leaned her head against my shoulder. And for the first time in my life, I didn't know if that small, fragile connection would survive the truth. A week later I moved out. Laura didn't fight it. She didn't cry, didn't beg. Just watched from the porch as I packed my things. When I closed the trunk of my car, she said quietly, Ryan's coming by this weekend. To meet her. He nodded. I didn't have any words left. As I started the engine, Emma ran out of the house, barefoot, hair messy from sleep. Dad, she cried. Wait. She pressed something into my hand, a bracelet she'd made from string and beads years ago. So you don't forget me. I smiled, though it hurt to. Never. And then she whispered, I love you. It was soft, uncertain, but it was real. I love you too, kiddo, I said. And I drove away, not looking back, because if I did, I knew I'd never leave. It's been 2 years since that night. Emma still calls sometimes. Her voice has grown older, steadier. She tells me about school, her friends, her dog. She doesn't mention Ryan much. Laura remarried him, from what I've heard. Funny thing is, people always tell you betrayal feels like anger. Like fire. But for me it's more like drowning. Quiet. Endless. I still see Emma on holidays. She calls me Mark now, no more Dad. The first time she said it, I felt something in me die. But when she hugs me goodbye, when her small hand squeezes mine just a second longer than needed, I know that some things, some bonds don't break easily. They just change shape. And maybe that's what love really is. What fatherhood really means. Not blood, not names, but showing up. Even when your heart's been shattered. Because the truth is, I'd do it all again. Every lie, every heartbreak, every sleepless night. For her smile. For the chance to be the man she once called Dad. Even if I was never really meant to be.